Get off of me. It's different than get off on me.
Right, that's preferred.
I got my first facial yesterday.
You've been initiated.
Courtesy of Sheila.
That's awesome.
That's a different type, right? Well, you want to get right into it?
Let's get right into it.
Let's get right into it, guys. Welcome to this one time. Today, I am joined by a force in the comedy world here in Phoenix and soon the rest of the world. Wild Child, thanks for joining me.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Dude, you've been on a meteoric ascension here. Very, very impressive. Meteoric also because that's actually my company. It's my LLC is Meteoric. So like a meteoric rise. And
oh, very cool.
Dude, you've been tearing it up since, I met you at Woodshed all that time ago. What's it been like recently? And then I want to get into what got you into it. But like right now, lay it down. Like you got all kinds of stuff going on right now.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I just wrote about literally minutes ago how back in November, I actually wanted to quit.
Ooh.
It was really overwhelming. Just a lot of the politics that go into it, and it's not specific to just Arizona and just the Phoenix comedy scene. It's global.
Yeah.
Just a lot of the, how should I say it? Challenges, that accompany being like a Black female entertainer. So I was just ready to give up. And then, I had some bookers reach out to me and it just kind of spiraled from there, like in a positive way, not in a negative, not a downward spiral.
It snowballed.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been overwhelming, but in a positive way. Like I've just received so much support since coming on the scene to like continue to move forward. I was on the radio briefly and that really catapulted my success. And a lot of people really got to know me on a more intimate level. And that just deepened the connection that already existed, and I just feel overwhelmed with the support. I really do. Like
that's and that's good for you to say that. Cause for one, I mean, I do feel like you are the type that can handle it.
Yes.
But I was thinking of that because you are very active on the socials, and not only that, but like getting out to shows and what you're producing yourself. And I'm just like, yo, this is a lot. And that's coming from me. It's coming from me. That's, some people will say the same. So I'm very impressed and inspired by you and what you're doing. But I'm glad you decided not to quit and you continue and you rolled that right into the Cool Kids Comedy Club.
Yes, absolutely. So for those of you who don't know me, I was a high school special education teacher for 9 years. Awesome. So I believe very strongly in like children are our future. It's our duty, our obligation to give them the tools they need to be successful and productive members of society. So then when I started doing comedy, it's like, how can I blend my love for children, my love for education with comedy? And that's how Cool Kids Comedy Club came to be, because it's a collaboration of both. I mean, there's a lot of programs in existence for kids, but there's not really an emphasis on like the educational aspect. Sometimes it's just the social or just the educational, but Cool Kids Comedy Club is different because it's a blend of both.
Yeah, it's bridging the gap.
Absolutely.
And making it fun. I mean, what's the signs of like a great public speaker or a teacher or someone that's giving you information is also, do they have a sense of humor? Can they provide it in an entertaining way?
Absolutely.
And that's what comedy brings to you. It lowers down your guard. If you can laugh at something, your guard has been lowered, and now you can receive the information, more willingly.
Absolutely. I agree. I know in one of my previous jobs, they actually hired someone who is a laugh therapist. Like laugh therapy exists.
And hold on, is this like you just come in and you just initiate the laugh, the function? So it's not even that you're laughing at something.
Correct.
It's just like me and you. All right, can we set it up real quick? So what All right, you're the laugh therapist.
Yes.
And
So
I'm in dire need of laughter to break the shell, I guess. Okay.
yeah, so literally, the therapist came in and was just like, "Hey, I just need you to laugh for 10 continuous seconds."
Oh,
and
shit,
so
I
that's
think I
what we
said 10
did.
minutes. I was like, holy crap.
No, 10 consecutive minutes. All right, go ahead.
It started off silly, and you're just like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And as you do it, it naturally comes out.
Naturally.
Wow.
Yes, absolutely.
Dude. I'm gonna be in the bathroom getting ready in the morning, and my girl's gonna be like, "What the heck is going on in there? Right. You're just laughing at yourself."
Literally.
That is awesome. Wow. Okay. I mean, shit. We know that laughter heals, and it's a tool, and it's medicine, and it's all these things.
Yes.
But when you said a laughter therapist, like even in my mind, I was like, "Oh, okay." And then you're like, "Hey, let's do it." And I'm like, okay, and I start.
Right.
But 5-6 seconds in, I'm just like, oh shit, this is becoming an actual laugh.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
It was so powerful, and I love laughter. Like, if you see me out in the community, I am like 9 times out of 10, I'm laughing.
Yeah.
Because I love laughing. So me.
There's two people that I say are the soundtracks to open mic, like the comedy laugh track, and that's Raven and you, and 2 very distinct laughs too.
Right. I remember when I was a teacher, my students were like, "Miss Howard, I knew you were in the classroom because I heard you laughing from down the hallway."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like known for my laughing, but I love laughing and having a good time.
Yeah.
Comedy brings that. Like, I'm a fan of comedy as it is. I never saw myself being a comedian.
Same.
But I've always been a fan of comedy, hands down.
What was the first maybe special, or like what's the first person you saw either on TV, or maybe you went to a live like show like at a fair or something? Because I remember seeing the hypnotist at the Yuma County Fair.
Nice.
That was always my favorite. I was like, I gotta catch this hypnotist and see what he gets these people to do. And oh my god, it was so funny. But yeah, I never considered myself a comic. So before you even were like, hey, I want to do comedy, but like who was maybe like the first comic that you saw that made an impression on you?
Definitely. Well, really both. Samore and Bernie Mac. Like,
Bernie.
I grew up watching the Bernie Mac show.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Like,
Legend.
He was he was definitely one of the legends of comedy. And I just remember how silly he was, and like how he would say things that like other people didn't have the courage to say. And I really appreciated that about him. And of course, I was laughing because he's hilarious.
He's hilarious.
Just real animated. And I love Samore because she's very fashionable.
So, okay, I can see that now. Like, because when you come out,
I'm fashionable.
I was gonna say that it was one of the things I was gonna use to introduce you. Is like when she's in the room, like you are one of those people where it's like when a wild child is here, you're gonna see just elegant, beautiful outfit, and then you're gonna hear you. Yeah, you're definitely one of those people.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I really like that too, because I mean, even those 2 specific comedians, they're like doing comedy in their own way.
Oh yes.
And I appreciate like the individuality that accompanies, like being a comedian. Everybody has their own different style.
Yeah.
Like I asked the question recently, like what is a headliner?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone, like all the comedians who responded all had their own different interpretation of what that is.
Yeah.
And I like that, Some people were silly, like, oh, it's the person on the flyer, and some people were like, if you can do 30 to 45 minutes. So I really like that. I like that, being a headliner doesn't just look one specific way. Just like being a comedian, it doesn't look the same.
It doesn't. And I think we give ourselves those like restrictions where,
right.
Am I a headliner? And on paper, maybe you're not, on
right.
paper, a headliner needs to be, in my opinion. So here, I'll give you my opinion.
Okay.
They need to be able to do 30 to 60 minutes
right.
at the draw. Hey, I need a headliner. Cool. I got 30 to 60 minutes. And it's solid, of course.
Yes.
But you can be a headliner in your own mind because
Right.
it's how you present yourself.
Correct.
And walking into the room, and are you professional? Or are you on time? Are you that to me that's the professionalism of a headliner. Now,
Yes.
comedians were wild. There's just tons of way more wild than me. But it's at that point it's like they can be eccentric. They can lose track of time. They can
Right.
do all these things. So not saying that someone that isn't punctual and that or anything like that isn't a headliner.
Right.
But I think it is. It's like just having like that confidence. But on paper, as a headliner,
Absolutely.
you're there to push tickets, get eyeballs on the event, and all this. So all that kind of wraps up into one, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And that was
I
a great
agree.
question. You are posing great questions on there.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been hearing that a lot too. And I'm just like, these are things that I'm wondering. I'm a fairly new comedian. I've only been doing this for like 9 months. So there's some questions that I just have. And I'm like, do I really want to use my page to ask those? And I'm like, I'm sure other people have these questions as well. And I'm just really
Exactly.
surprised with like the high level of engagement I'm getting.
Well, I think a lot of people are scared to put out there like, I got a dumb question. And it's
Right.
like, listen, if you keep it to yourself, then it was a dumb question. But
Right.
I think you're asking things that people wonder about. They just don't have the balls to do it.
Correct.
And it's taking you, down that path, which I love, because at the end of the day, it's free knowledge,
Yes.
and people love to spread what they already know.
Absolutely.
And then you get the opinions, and then that's where like you get the full on engagement.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's good work. Yeah, you are a smart cookie, my lady.
Thank you. And as far as social media too, I've always been a person who I value engagement over followers. Like I would much rather have people on my page who are, engaging in discussions with not only myself, but each other
Yeah.
as well. I understand followers are important,
For sure.
and I definitely want to build up my following, but I've always prioritized engagement and connection.
Yeah, that definitely holds more weight because sure, you can have 1 million followers, but say you only have 5,000 people really engaging with your posts out
Right.
of that, then what are the followers for if they're not engaging?
Right.
Because they have an advertiser has the opportunity to advertise to technically 1 million people, but like
Correct.
you're only getting 0.5% at that point.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, you're working that algorithm for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, for 9 months, I mean, listen, it's a long time, especially when you consider that you were already thinking about quitting, and it's easy to see once you're in it, why it becomes as hard as it is. The politics, the
Absolutely.
relationships, a lot of people will play their cards close,
Yes.
and not want to divulge some things, but I think that's because of history. Some people have abused it, some people wasted it, all this. But
Right.
when you get a person of your caliber that's coming in, and you're going to take that little seed and you're going to plant it, and you're going to water it, and it's going to blossom into something that's going to bear fruit for the entire community, because
Yes.
you started Kids Club, right? Cool
Yes.
Kids Comedy Club with Gary, and I'm sure a couple other people, which I'm forgetting right now. But then you had the opportunity. You gave an opportunity, and people stepped up to the opportunity to, be engaged in that group and
Correct.
what it's doing. So, yes, you like, and that's what I'm saying. Like you're planting that seed, and it's gonna allow other comics and other kids to, what's the word I'm looking for? Bear the fruit, right?
Correct.
It's gonna be, they're gonna get as much out of it
Yes.
as you are, as the
Absolutely.
creator.
Absolutely. I love that you said that, because when I designed Cool Kids Comedy Club, that was my line of thinking exactly. I want something that's going to be beneficial for everyone involved. It's going to be beneficial for myself as the creator, right? To see what I created manifest. So that's going to be, that's the reward. We're rewarding the kids, because they're learning these essential life and literacy skills in a fun way. We're rewarding comedians because they're, earning community service hours, but also building their connection up with the community.
Yeah.
Now we have the benefit shows. That's stage time. They're getting paid to do these benefit shows. Like, it's awesome, and then just beneficial for the community at large.
Yeah, it really is. Now I'm getting paranoid that I didn't hit record. Hold on.
Okay.
That's what happens. You mess up one time, and then it's like, oh. Okay. That's good. No, it is. And you know what? It's the whole, not to say indoctrination, but almost indoctrination with kids, with people. You get them as early as possible, so then they become familiar with it, become comfortable with it. It just gets molded into their being, in essence, and they can maybe branch out a lot sooner than they would have and have some courage, because that is what we do. Is one of the top fears.
Yes,
is public speaking.
Correct.
And I guess, to me, like I never had that much of a fear of it. There's always a nervousness and all that,
right.
But to some people, it's debilitating. And I'm just like, wow, man. I mean, to me, it's like there's just so many people out there, and when you realize it is just perspectives,
right?
And I know what I'm saying, makes sense. It might not be the best way to say it. It might not be the most polished way to say it, but there is something funny there.
Yes.
And it is an interesting idea or bit or premise. I just haven't reached my audience yet. And that's just what I view it as. So I can't get upset,
right.
when I'm out performing at open mics or these, like the roast battle. Oh my God, girl, you killed that roast battle. Woo! You set that bitch. You poured the gasoline, lit the match, walked off. Poor CT, man. I hear he's in therapy.
Right.
Dude, oh my gosh, that was so impressive. But to kind of get to my point where I brought it up, and then I'm going to get back to you because I want to give you your praises on that. My shit was really wordy. And that crowd was too high. Yeah. Because even Brian said that. He's like, you're talking to us like we're 3 years old.
Right.
And I kind of do that with my comedy too, because I'm trying to like memorize, and that's the issue. And that's why you need to get up and get reps. So you're not just trying to recite, you're retelling, reciting versus retelling. Because you can recite a story and you're just trying to nail everything, or you can retell it, and when you're retelling it, you're this is what I remember, and you're really getting into it, instead of like, this is what I remember. Yeah, this was funny, right?
Right.
So I knew, I was like, okay, well, I got the win. I wasn't too proud of that. Luckily, my rebuttals saved my ass, but it was a learning experience. I was
Absolutely.
like, okay, now I know for like this type of crowd, and maybe just roasts in general.
Yeah.
Because that's how I was talking to Sheila, and she was like, that was a little bit, this, that. And I was like, well, I've seen a lot of the roasts that I've seen highlighted from like Roast Battle.
Yes.
That come across my feed are a little bit longer.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, okay, like I'm kind of lean into that. Plus, I wanted to use that reverse osmosis. I wanted to just get that in there. And then I wanted to just like almost like a mic drop, just come in, and my fourth joke was just after 3 long jokes. My fourth joke was, Moses is a Republican. And it just did not land, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I lost." And that's where like you kind of lose the crowd a little bit, right? But it's different. That was a consumption event. Ooh, girl, so much weed up in there. Holy shit! And we walked out, man. It was like, is this really all free? Like,
right.
So roast battle, pot roast battle. You got the invite.
Yes.
Did you know about the first show? Because I had heard about the first show, but I didn't know what it fully entailed.
Oh no, I had no idea. I had no idea about the first show. That was actually my 4th roast battle that I've been in. So I'm known. I guess.
You're a writer. Here's the thing.
I am.
You're a writer.
I am a roast writer. So I say that because, I'm getting into being a clean comedian. That's actually one of my professional goals for this year. So even with my roast, is like, I'm veering into or veering away from like cussing and things like that. So it forces me as a roast writer to be more creative.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I love about it. That's why I'm like, yeah, sign me up for any roast battle, because it really like sparks my creativity and like challenges me, and I love that.
Challenge, and you're gonna rise to that occasion. Because I had that that discussion, because it gets brought up all the time, like the do better comedy ones,
Right.
where it's like, and everybody just, most of the comics shit on them. They're like, oh, I want to say what I want to say, this
Right.
and that. And I was telling Steve and Ty on our podcast, I was like, talking to Patrick Bean on our okay, I'm trying to recall. Anyways,
Yeah.
I was listing all the reasons why I don't want to do a do better show, because I'm just like, why are they trying to limit me? I just want to say what I want to say.
Right.
And then I was like, listing all these reasons, and I was like, they just sound like excuses now. It's literally, I was like, I think I just got to man the fuck up and do it.
And
Find
do
a
better.
way. Do better.
Yes.
Do better. I shared a story today about a reel, working out while you're pregnant, because it looks crazy, right?
Right.
Someone's pregnant, she's squatting over there, and it's like, here's the guy I follow is a pro, but he was like, here's a real pro in this sect.
Right.
So this lady was talking about, be mindful of certain things. You can do it. Just because you're pregnant doesn't mean you're debilitated, you're weak, or anything like that.
Correct.
No. You guys have a powerful body. Amazing.
Right.
And she left it with this line at the end, which hit me. And she said, you're just going to have to be different, and different is an opportunity.
Ooh,
And
I love
that's
that.
what I was like, whoa, okay. So it's not what we envisioned. It's
Right.
different. But now here's an opportunity for you to adapt,
Yes.
for you to, because in our head, we're coming in to something and we're like, this is kind of expected to go. And
Right.
if it doesn't go that way, what are you going to do? Sulk and be upset and be like, oh, well, what? Or do you become a wild child,
Absolutely. So I actually had the opportunity to participate in the Burnout Roast Battle. Shout out to AV Reina.
Yeah.
And that was a learning experience for me because I prepared great jokes, but then we had a joke off that I didn't expect.
Oh, gotcha.
And I was very upset with the outcome, but that taught me that I need to over prepare. So now when they tell me, oh, you have to do 5 jokes, I'm writing 7 to 10 because I just want to be ready, know? And I even have to, one thing I do too when I write is I also organize my jokes as well. So I don't just present the jokes in the order that I write them. I structure them in the way that I feel that they're going to hit best.
Yeah. You do your, hey, I got to open up hard.
Yes.
And then maybe I can come off on the second one or something. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right.
You position them in that sense.
Absolutely.
And then you got to leave one in the chamber, right? One left in the clip just to make sure,
Absolutely.
if they're still there kind of withering on the floor, you just
Finish them off.
finish him.
Exactly.
You would be a Mortal Kombat character.
Yes. But I want to talk about my name.
Okay. I did want to bring it up because I was going to say Mortal Kombat Woodshed. There's a Mortal Kombat arcade game in the back. I met you at Woodshed.
Yes.
And I was going to ask you, you went with the stage name, a pseudonym. Was that your intention walking in there that night?
It was because of my job at the time.
Yes.
So I knew I was going to have a stage name, but I did not know what that stage name was going to be. So I had just met Juan, those of you who are listening, and I asked him, what do you think of when you look at me? And he said, wild.
I don't know if I said I see you as wild, but I just go, you were like, it's my first time.
Yes.
And I was like, well, just get wild, girl. Wild. And you're like, all right. And I don't know where it linked up at Wild Child, but I just remember saying that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. So that's what I've been going with ever since.
Yeah. And I noticed also that have you started putting an H in there on Wild?
Oh.
Where's that sit right now?
So I have to put an H in my name on Facebook because I tried to do like the traditional spelling of Wild and it was like, that's not a real name. But then when I threw in an H, it was like, oh, that's a real name. I'm like, okay, great. So sometimes on advertisements, like for my upcoming shows, some people put the H, some people don't. It's fine. As long as my face is on there, I'm okay.
Gotcha. So right now it's interchangeable. So question,
Yes.
because I am saving this and I had it. As I went to hit save and create the file, I go, wait, And I'm like combing through like your posts. I'm like, it's still both. You're using them interchangeably.
Yes.
So what would you prefer at this point? Without the H?
Without the H.
Without the H. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
So that's how I'll label it. All right, noted. And all right, cool.
So eventually, I will be going by my actual name, and my goal is to turn Wild Child into like my production company.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. And your actual name, are we divulging that yet or no?
Yeah, we can.
Well, my name is Juan Montoya. Nice to meet you.
Kayla Howard.
Kayla Howard.
Yes.
Beautiful. Have I ever told you look like a wild child?
It's funny that you mentioned that too, because I'm actually dating another comedian. Shout out to Gary.
Gary.
And it's funny because he's like, am I talking to Kayla right now or am I talking to Wild Child? You know, because that's two different people.
Yeah, it is. You
It
posed
really
that
is.
question the other day, and I responded with that, you know, I think a stage name allows people to kind of be more willing to go hard at a bit, really sell
Yes.
a bit, a joke, or just become that character, because now I'm not Kayla, I am Wild Child. And you know what? I experienced this in my workout group because we all get nicknames.
Oh.
And my nickname is Rage.
Nice.
Because I used to be in a Rage Against the Machine cover band, but
Okay.
like nobody really knows that for the
Nice.
most part. So when they see me, they're like, oh, well, there's Rage,
Right.
And now in my mind, well, I gotta rage.
Right.
I gotta be the guy that's like, you know, one of the top one or two when we're running or
Right.
I'm going hard, you know, and it's the name that you go by or that you're given does influence you.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if you're Wild Child, hey, I gotta be,
Yeah.
you know, maybe Child will be silly or just loose,
Right.
But Wild, yeah, it comes with the territory.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I like it too because I feel like, you know, me being on stage, that's just like another layer of who I am. It's funny because shout out to Gage Flick. When he roasted me, he said, Wild Child, it's more like mild-mannered adult. And I'm like, that's so true because it's hard for a lot of people to believe, but I'm actually an introvert. I'm a super quiet person. I'm at home, I'm reading, I'm watching my shows. I'm not being wild at all. So I laugh so hard because it's just like, man.
It was a roast, but it was spot on.
It was a roast, but it was spot on. I'm like, oh
but
my
also,
goodness.
he wasn't at Woodshed when you wore that one dress.
True.
Yeah,
That
full
is
send.
true.
I appreciated that full send. Like, I love, like, when somebody has the opportunity to peacock, to just go, like, why not just express your full personality when given the opportunity.
Absolutely.
And I think because, you know, growing up, a lot of us do get shit on. But as you get older, you realize that adults really appreciate that. Man, that dude went for it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. But what got you out to Woodshed that night?
Oh, this is always so funny to talk about. So I was dating Gary at the time, and we were actually dating before we were comedians. I'm just throwing that out there. I do not recommend dating another comedian if you are a comedian. But anyways, so we were both pre-existing, I guess, comedians. But we went to Woodshed because that was like where we had our first date. Like we just went there for some drinks and conversation. It was 5 minutes away from his house. I'll let your mind
There you go.
go to where it needs to go on that. It was close. It was convenient. But he told me that like on Wednesday nights they had open mic.
Yeah.
So there was one Wednesday that we went just to see, you know, and I'm like, okay. And I found out that Gary had been writing jokes for 11 years.
Oh, shit.
And I'm just like, why have you never went up and did an open mic?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that really confused me because I was like, in my past, I dated someone who was a semi-professional basketball player. And I was like super supportive of that. I was at his games, his practices. So I'm just like, if you're talking about you've been writing jokes for 11 years, but you've never done an open mic, well, let me go sign your name up when you're not looking. You're going to do an open mic.
Yeah.
And so I did that back in April, and I saw how much fun he was having, and I wanted to like challenge myself to do that also. And so May 3rd was my first set at Woodshed, and it was awesome. You know, it was really cool. I liked being up there. I didn't realize how much me being a teacher prepared me for being a comedian.
Yeah.
You know, normally people might think it would be the opposite, but it's like, no, like public speaking, you know, writing, all of that.
Yeah, addressing a room, calming a room down.
Absolutely.
You know, having that tone to really cut through.
Yes, absolutely.
Teachers. So how many teachers, how many under the radar comics are in those school hallways?
Right.
In the lunch rooms, the teacher's room, right?
Yeah. And I mean, the teachers I connected with the most, they were funny. They were hilarious. They made learning and being in their classroom fun. So, and that's the type of teacher that I was, you know, and I liked it because the kids that like other teachers couldn't handle or didn't want to deal with, they would send them to my room. And I'm like, send their assignment. Like they may come in here huffing and puffing and with an attitude, but by the end of the class period, the assignment was done. They're like, thank you so much. When they see me out, like when we're walking, like in passing, they're like, thank you so much, Miss Howard. Like I was just having a bad day that day, you know, and it's just amazing how humor just really brings us together.
Yeah, it does that. And for kids, I mean, that's, you know, to us as adults is like, that's what you had a bad day because of what? Like,
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
But when you're a kid and that's your world, like
Correct.
that's all you know. And
Right.
that is the worst thing that's happened to you at that moment in time. So yeah, you would
Absolutely.
naturally feel like, but we get so removed as adults and you would think teachers, you know, that are more, you know, present around it.
Correct.
But, you know, we're human and we get up our own asses. So.
Yes.
We do.
It's true. It's true. Definitely.
You have a big fundraiser coming up at the end of April, right?
Yeah, so I have a benefit show. It's going to be at Stir Crazy Comedy Club. Shout out to Tom Sims. He's awesome. I just met him the other day. And we're excited for that because, again, that's another opportunity. So earlier when you were mentioning how, you know, something different brings about an opportunity, I thought about the benefit show. Like, okay, we're all comedians. You know, with the exception of my mom, who's on the board, everyone else involved in volunteering, we're all comedians. Why not give comedians an opportunity to perform stage time for a good cause? You know, and also get paid for it too. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
So that's when I thought about Laughs for a Purpose. And in my mind, I want it to be, of course, a benefit show for Cool Kids Comedy Club, but I'm not opposed to raising money for other organizations as well, you know, because laughter, again, brings us together and it's for a good cause. Why not support it?
Yeah. And I think the acronym would really connect with people online.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Laughs for a Purpose. LEFAP.
Right. They might like that one.
A little too much. End of April, Stir Crazy. I've yet to go to Stir Crazy. I need to get out there.
Yes, you do. Get there April 28th at 4 p.m.
Yes. No, I'll do that. Oh, and kid friendly?
It's kid friendly.
Because
yes.
I'm planning on bringing the kids.
Okay.
As long as my son doesn't have a soccer game that conflicts with that. I definitely want to bring him out there. 'Cause, dude, we sit at this table here for dinner, and they'll be like, "We want to roast each other, Dad. Can we do roasts? Can we do roasts?" And we'll sit there, and my son, he won't, because he's so used to doing it with his friends apparently at school.
Right.
That he won't call us by our name. He'll just say bro 1, bro 2, bro number 3. And he'll be like, bro number 3, can't even brush your teeth right. You know, it's like, I'm like, dude, you're 8. You cannot be coming with these weak things, man. I let him know real quick. My daughter's super dark though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know they're gonna be excited.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you let me know if you have a clean 5 to 10 we're gonna be putting on more benefit shows in the future.
Yeah, sweet.
So-
I'm working on my clean stuff for sure.
Okay.
I did Liz's show the other weekend,
Yes.
the other Thursday.
How was that?
It was really good.
Good.
And you know what? Whew. Here's the thing about clean shows, guys. People are there and they're listening a little bit more intently.
Absolutely.
And they know that we want to be dirty. So the fact that they're like, how are they going to work this out to not be? They are listening more intently. It's a great audience. My experience at this one was it is a great audience. And you know what? It wasn't like I wasn't like struggling to like get to like I need to say something wild and funny real quick. That's just going to be like shock value.
Right.
I'm upset I didn't record it because I was so calm up there.
Wow.
And I was just
awesome.
like, taking my time the way it should be.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I am working on my clean comedy.
Okay.
I am. So
Good.
I'll let you know when I feel confident.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Because we want to have, I see a lot of shows, and no shade to anybody specifically, but I see a lot of shows that have the same 3 to 5 comedians.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talent out here, so we have a benefit show coming up. The lineup is all varied. It's super diverse. And I want that to be the case for all of the benefit shows. So we really book comedians of all experience levels. Of course, if you're new, we're not going to book you as a headliner.
Yeah,
obviously. For sure. But I mean, if you can do a clean 5 to 10, definitely reach out to me because we want to showcase all of the talent that we have, not just the 3 to 5 that we see on the shows a lot.
Yeah, and respect to those comics that
Correct.
You have in your mind that have done it because I'm sure they've been at it for a long time. They've made their name. They've done all that, which is what you want to do. But you have the opportunity to showcase, some new talent.
Absolutely.
And from different walks of life, because at the end of the day, it's just comedy is all about perspectives.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be different for each person that's up there. And
right.
To me, it's complete freedom. And that's what I told Jetwan in our episode.
Yes.
She was like, what do you love about it? I was like, I just have complete freedom.
That's
Which
correct.
was interesting for her to say that she didn't feel that way.
Wow.
Because she's a Black woman.
Yeah.
That, women can't talk about this and,
right.
you're Black, so you don't really, understand this or that.
Right.
When anybody of a different race is up there saying things, people in the audience can just start judging.
Right.
Nonsense.
Right.
So it is hard, and that's why you don't come out and you don't come out with like unless all your material is like wild, dirty, and dark. You don't come out with that.
Right.
You got to get people on your side first.
Absolutely.
And then you can be like, all right, guys, what about this?
Then you can push it.
Yeah, because it is. I mean, comedy is supposed to push, right? It's supposed to
Yes.
push back at societal norms.
Correct.
It's supposed to be like, hey, have you guys ever considered how we view this and how kind of fucked up it is?
Right.
And that's what, if you get people comfortable enough to public speak and you get kids, then kids can speak up. Be like, hey.
Yes.
This is kind of messed up. And then they're like, well, what do you think? And instead of being like, well, I don't know, it's just messed up. We're giving them tools to be able to think about that process.
Yes.
Because you have to work it out. Because we'll write about something, right? And it's like, well, I don't fully agree with this, but it's funny. So how can I make this make sense, even though I don't fully agree with this thought?
Absolutely.
So you're able to entertain this idea. And I think that might be what's missing in a lot of our culture is that we're not willing to entertain something we disagree with. Ooh. Because it's going to force ourselves to either grow or to acknowledge that, like, well, I don't really care about that. I'm just going to continue to be wrong.
It's true. And I hear a lot of comedians say, oh, I could never do clean. And I'm like, because it takes work. Like you really have to think outside the box. You cannot rely on dropping F-bombs to, make the joke funnier. Mm-hmm. And honestly, what made me want to go clean is I heard a comedian up there and she was just constantly cussing and talking about sex. And I'm just like, I felt like that's how I was sounding. And I'm like, I don't want to sound like that. Like this is my opportunity to get some important messages across,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I can't do that if people are trying to sift through, you know, me being, in my opinion, I'm lazy. If I'm up there cussing and talking about sex, I'm being lazy 100%.
There you go. And that's for you. So
And that's
this
for
person,
me.
they might find that funny. That's what they're doing. Okay, cool. That's on you.
Right.
But like, yeah, you're taking that extreme responsibility for your own
Absolutely.
actions, materials, your train of thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do also, it just kind of coincides with the timeline for Cool Kids Comedy Club because I mean, I already knew I wanted to be a clean comedian before the new year came. But then when Cool Kids Comedy Club, it's like, okay, yeah, I need to get on it.
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I mean, but most of these comics, I mean, you know, how can they be a clean comedian when they barely shower?
Right.
I just roasted all the Phoenix just playing.
I know.
Oh, man. So you were a teacher, special needs teacher?
Yes. And within that, I specialize in math. So I can teach anything from like pre-K math all the way up through calculus 1.
Get the fuck out of here. Holy shit.
Yes. I love math. It's my favorite, but I could teach anything because within special education, I had to teach math, English, geometry. I mean, what else? Not geometry, geology, biology, the sciences, everything you can think of, health education, job preparation. I did it all.
Oh, wait, health education. So when I first met you, something about you being a sex therapist was sprinkled in there. Were you a sex therapist?
No.
Where
never.
did that come from?
So on my Instagram bio, I had I sound like a phone sex therapist. I'm not. I'm not one. But I've been told that my voice is really distinct. Like I get that a lot when I'm ordering in drive-thrus, you know. They're like, "You sound like my GPS." And I'm like, "Is that a compliment or?"
Hold on. All right, go.
Turn right here.
I just ran into a wall, wild child. Need to update this code.
I know, right? Hilarious.
So you weren't a sex therapist?
No.
Damn. Hold on.
That
I'm
sounds-
just trying to reframe you in my mind now.
That sounds like an interesting profession.
It is, but you know what's more interesting? What you just labeled off, or you know, said that you can instruct, you know, in the state of Arizona.
Yes.
Kids, like that's very impressive, girl.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you did it for 9 years. You were saying?
I did it for 9 years.
What
yes.
finally took you out then?
So COVID. COVID, because what happened for me specifically is we went to the online school. And I worked my tail off to make sure that my students still had that same enriching, you know, learning experience that they would have in the classroom.
You can't though, huh?
Well,
Because
it wasn't that. It was the fact that my colleagues were not doing that. So we had students who had never failed a class before. They were failing in the online setting. And I'm like, how is it that I'm able to create that same, maybe not the exact same, but a similar experience, you know, and they're not. So that just made me frustrated with the system.
yeah.
And that made me want to walk away. So I started my math tutoring business back in 2019. But I implemented it after COVID because a lot of kids lost anywhere from like 6 months to 2 years worth of math education during that time.
Damn.
So the demand for people like me went up a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the first year that I actually made $50,000 in my own business. I'm like, I'm making that same thing, you know, I was making that same thing being a teacher, but of course, you know. So it was insane. So I just got really frustrated. I knew I still wanted to work with kids, but I wanted to do it in a way that was also beneficial to me.
Yeah, of course.
I'm also a parent, and not only that, I'm a parent of multiple kiddos with disabilities. 3 of my children have autism.
Really?
Yes.
Dude, how do you get more and more impressive? And I mean, every child is hard to deal with.
Yes.
Because they're their own person.
Correct.
They interpret their experiences in their own way.
Yes.
But to also have someone that's, on the spectrum that, certain things are heightened.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's, so were you, I guess, were you a special needs teacher and then you also had special needs kids? Or
yeah, so my kiddos have been diagnosed since 2000. I think my daughter was diagnosed in 2019, and then my two sons were diagnosed in like 2020 and 2021.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I was already a special education teacher, which was good.
Yeah,
because I knew what they were supposed to be getting. A lot of parents don't know.
Yeah.
They have no idea what their kids are supposed to be getting. So I would go into meetings and they would be, rambling off this educational jargon. And I'm just like sitting there like I don't know what they're talking about, just seeing if they break it down to me.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you're rattling off all these acronyms and things, but like what does it mean to me as a parent who has to take care of a child who has very high learning and behavioral needs, and then finally when I broke it to them, like, oh yeah, I'm a special education teacher. They were like, oh, okay. So yeah. So yeah, I know that you're supposed to be breaking this down to me more than you are.
Yeah. Instead of just spitting out blah, 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 blah,
yep,
blah.
and sign here,
Yeah. Cause I mean, shit, the way the world is,
yes,
most parents can't keep up with all that, and it's like, well, you're the professional here. I'll just sign here. Okay,
right.
That's the right thing to do. Okay, sure.
Absolutely, that happens a lot. And
that would probably happen to me. I'm not gonna lie.
There's been a couple families that I also provided like educational advocacy services to. Like they were like, I'm pretty sure my kid needs some like additional support. I don't know how to go about it. So they contacted me and I walked them through the entire process because I experienced that myself.
Yeah, firsthand.
Firsthand. Yeah. And not only with one kid, not two, not three, but four. So it was definitely a learning experience for sure.
Man, it's like the way stuff lines up like that.
Yes.
For you to I think you're on the right path, girl. I think you're on, if not the right path, a very good one, nonetheless. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What impacts that you're making in just waves? Besides comedy and I guess what you're doing right now, I mean, what other things are you passionate about?
Definitely education and learning. So I also have my own, a lot of people don't know this, but I have my own business. It's called Common Denominators University.
Okay.
And it's a math tutoring business.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So I tutor students from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, and it's virtual. So I've been blessed to be able to tutor kids not only in Arizona, but in California, Nevada, Colorado. I have students in Georgia. So thank Facebook for that, because I was marketing my business a lot on Facebook. So I connected with a lot of parents in different states, and a lot of parents were concerned because of what happened with COVID. They're like, you only tutor over Zoom, like they were,
Gotcha.
Like, are you actually there? Is it live instruction? Are they watching videos? How does it work?
And then they heard your GPS voice and they're like, yeah, I'll take it.
Exactly. And that's been really rewarding too, because I remember one year I had a student who was in 8th grade who was in danger of not promoting to 9th grade.
Oof.
So we were in crunch time.
Yeah.
And he worked with me for 3 months and he was able to promote and go on to high school.
Heck yeah.
I tutored him his freshman year and I have not seen him since because he's been doing amazing.
Yeah.
And it's a hard gig because you want clients.
Yeah.
But also my responsibility is to not have
It's not
clients.
to have them. Yeah. I was about to say that. It's like that is bittersweet, right?
Absolutely.
But it's the same argument that I have, or where people pose it, where it's like, like doctors, they don't want you healthy. They don't want this. People are like, in that sense. I was like, no, they do.
Right.
They might be wrong or misinterpreting some of just because the way a lot of like diet, food, all that, the way it was promoted in the 70s and the 80s and whatnot. But Here's the thing about human nature is you're always going to have clients because
Right.
we don't do the necessary work.
It's
you know,
true.
there's always going to be a kid that's just not doing the work.
Right.
I'm always going to have a donut every now and then. You know, I'm always going to there's things that I'm doing, you know, that are gonna, you know, at the doctor again, doctor, you know, you need to cut back on this. Oh, I know, doctor. You need less sugar. Oh, I know, doctor. But it's like we still do that. So
Right.
they don't need to do anything to make sure we're not making the right choices, because we as humans just in our nature to, you know, go the comfortable route or the easy or
Correct.
I earned this, you know. And sometimes you have, and sometimes you do need it, you know.
Right,
But I think in this day and age, we do this too much. Dude, I saw some honey buns last night at Walmart. I was like, oh, this takes me back. And I put that box right back.
Wow, I'm proud of you.
Because I'm that motherfucker that I'll eat that whole box because you know what? I need it out of the house. I can't eat this all week. No way. So I'll just eat a box in one night. Get this out of my face.
Definitely. And I'm a believer in, I mean, because let's be real. If you are a business owner, you are a capitalist. That's just what it is. Yeah. But me, like the work that I do, I specifically work with students who are underrepresented and students who are one or more grade levels behind.
Dang.
You know, so I mean, we're talking, I've had students also who came in, like my programs are 3 months. They were failing at the beginning, and then they went on to like rise from like F's to A's in like literally 3 months.
That's awesome.
One student that I'm tutoring in California, she had an IEP, that's an individual education program, to address her needs in math. And she had math goals in her IEP. I've been working with her for almost 2 years. She no longer has math goals in her IEP.
And so you want to just kind of send them and not
Absolutely.
see them again. Maybe hear from them, because you do make connections,
Yes.
you know, and you become really, you know, really close with each other.
It's true.
Especially if you're able to course correct them like that. Like, yeah, that relationship is just, you know, it's more meaningful.
It is. And I have students who I tutor right now who they don't necessarily need it, but it's like a maintenance thing.
Maintenance, yeah. You need to do that, yeah.
And it's important. So I say that like going back to the whole conscious capitalism, like I am a business owner, but I'm also doing it for the greater good, you know? Like if we help these kids now, you know, who knows what they can, like how we can set them off like on a positive trajectory for the future.
Yeah, it's just it's gonna be exponential.
Absolutely.
You know? It's not just 1 or 2 points. No, it's exponential. It's on top of each other.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's huge. That's epic. Can you recall one time where it really tested you and maybe you couldn't reach a student? Like if they were, you know, because we do, everybody likes to talk about their wins, and it's good to see,
yes.
but also that you had moments where you were tested and you failed, but you know what? You brush yourself off and you keep going forward.
Yeah, so the issue is it wasn't the students.
The parents. It's always the parents.
It was the parents. So that's the thing about working with kids. I'm very passionate about that.
Yeah.
But I have to work with parents.
Yeah, you're working with parents as much, if not more, especially if you have those parents that are just like in every aspect.
Yes. So one of the parents that I worked with, I was actually tutoring both of her daughters, and it was awesome. They were in Cali. It was all good. But I had a program to where, like after their first 10 sessions, they received a $25 gift card. Because it's like, thank you for being here. Like you could be playing with your friends at the park and not worried about math at all.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to go into that. Hopefully I'll put a pin right there and go back into that. But I found out that the mom withheld that card from them, and that was interfering with my program. So that was the issue. You know, my program is set up to where after the first 10 sessions, you get this gift card, you get a certificate, because I want the students in my program to become acclimated with success and winning.
Yeah.
You know, thank you for showing up. Because I think that we just expect kids just to listen, just to do.
You do.
And it's like, we don't just listen and do as adults. So we need to reinforce their behavior just like we like being reinforced. I don't know a lot of people that work for free.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's work being in tutoring. I've had students who they'll come in and they're huffing and puffing the whole session. Like, I don't want to be here. I have better things to do. And the parents are texting me like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, it's okay. That's fine. They're being their authentic selves. It's all good. Once we build that rapport, then that goes away. Yeah. But I have to earn their trust.
Yeah. But even then it's like like working out,
Yes.
Sometimes you don't want to do it.
Correct.
But the discipline is I'm here anyway.
Absolutely.
And at least that's what the kids are doing.
That's what they're doing.
They're huffing and puffing, but hey, you're here.
Right.
You're here.
So you can huff and puff and blow the house down, but you're going to get an A in math, okay? And you're going to feel really good about that.
By the hair on your chinny chin chin.
I love that.
You said you wanted to put a pin in what?
Oh yeah, in that. Like, I just think that a lot of times as adults we just have unreasonable expectations for kids. So I was actually on a radio show and my co-host said something, it was a joke, but she was just like, oh, if your kids are bad, don't bring them to
Don't bring them to where?
Cool Kids Comedy Club. And I'm like, no. If your kids are bad, we want them.
Yeah.
Those are the kids that I really want to work with.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a kid that doesn't necessarily want to spend 4 hours of their Saturday at the library. I want those kids.
Yeah.
Like I've had other organizations reach out to me like, hey, I have kids who are on probation. Like, is that okay? Yes, that's okay. Bring them.
Love it.
Bring them, because those are the kids who we don't know like what level of impact we're going to have if we never try.
Exactly.
And I do think that we just have unreasonable expectations. And that is like one of my big pet peeves, because again, we can't expect that kids are just going to know. I remember when I was a teacher, I had high school students. They were 14 to 18. They were all taller than me. I had them practicing how to come inside the classroom. And other teachers were like, what? What's going on? The students were like, why do we have to do this? And I told them, if I don't teach you how to do it or show you what I expect, I can't hold you accountable.
Yeah. Whoo. Damn, girl. Yes.
So eventually, but also too, I'm like, I could be on the phone. And if you guys are coming in the classroom yelling and it's an emergency, I'm not going to be able to hear what's going on. So once I told them like the relevance of that.
Yeah, exactly. Why
you're doing it. Yep.
Because to them, it'd be like, well, you just want to dictate exactly how we. No, it's like, no. This is why.
Correct.
That's beautiful. That's perfect. I try to do that with my kids as much as possible. And it leaves room for them to argue with me on it and to do their own rationale, which, hey, I love it, man. Think rationally. And sometimes I might have to swallow, my pride in a sense, but they need that, because how else do they? It's like not taking your kids to a restaurant when they're really young, because this will be a mess. And then when you finally get to a restaurant and you're like, we're at a restaurant, behave. It's like, well, they don't know. They never taught that.
Exactly.
You have to go. You as a parent need to take your licks.
Yes.
When it comes with dealing with the baby. I can't get upset when a baby's crying.
Right.
When a baby's crying like that. No. I can get a little upset when it's like maybe a toddler.
Right.
When it's like, it's their bedtime or not bedtime, but nap time.
Right.
Bedtime is fine. Hey, dude, I'm Mexican. We've fallen asleep everywhere. but naps are so important for kids.
Yes. It's true. We just have to let kids be kids. That's what it is. I mean, sometimes you might come if comedians are wanting to shadow to a shadow Cool Kids Comedy Club, you might come in there and it's kids chasing each other in the class. We let the kids be themselves. There are moments where there's structure, and then there's also moments where we have those unstructured opportunities, because ultimately we want kids to improve academically, but also socially as well.
Yeah.
And you can't always structure those social situation.
And it's play. Play is exactly that.
Exactly.
It's like cubs play fighting. They're
Correct.
playing. They're not just around their mom or dad and they're like talking to them the whole time. Like,
right.
This is what you want to do. This is how you're gonna. No,
exactly.
They need to play. They need to socialize.
Yes.
Because that's gonna teach you
right
about the world as well. Like
it's true.
And play is way more engaging than just instruction.
It is. 100%.
If you find a way, it's like, okay, I want them to learn this, but how can I structure it in a way where it seems like we're just playing,
right?
Instead of me. I have that problem where I do talk at them when they bring up kind of thing, or I'm like, well, hey, have you considered? I needed to do better as well as just like as being a kid, man, that sucks.
Right.
Because as a parent, I just want them to be like, well, you have to think about it like this, and then you'll get over it sooner. But hey,
right.
Man, let them feel it.
Absolutely.
Why do I want them to just don't feel bad, don't feel this, don't feel that? Like, no, feel it.
Feel it.
So the next time,
yes.
you can appreciate when it turns out differently.
Yes. This one student, he was a 5th grader. We told him, like, at the end, we give students the opportunity to share. He was like, nah, man, I'm not sharing my jokes,
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But like by the end of the class, he wrote a page and a half worth of jokes.
Dang.
And shared them. Just like that.
Wow.
Just like that.
Did he have to go last?
No, he went first.
You drug this kid? It's fine.
Right.
Dang.
So if you give them the tools and you give them like the opportunity to utilize those tools, they will. But they have to be taught those things explicitly. One thing that we don't do yet is providing feedback to each other.
I'll come up on the mic just a little bit more. Or bring it to you. No, you can bring it to you.
One thing we have, is that better?
Well, you keep leaning that way. I want you to be comfortable. Well, I want you to be comfortable. I can bring it to you. Want me to bring it to you?
Yeah, that'd be good. I'm like leaning. Perfect. Yeah, that's good. So I forgot what I was going to say. Do you remember?
The kid that did like a page and a half of jokes.
Oh, yeah.
By the end of the class. We got to give him the tools.
That's what I was talking about. Yes, thank you. We, at this point, do not allow the students to give feedback to each other on their jokes.
That is a very good call.
Because, again, that is something that has to be taught explicitly.
Yes.
How do you say, well, maybe you should say this instead of, that's stupid.
Dude, I can just picture my son. My son would just be flinging shit. The bro sucks.
Exactly.
God damn it.
Exactly. And even more so than giving feedback, accepting feedback.
Ooh, you have to. That is the level of maturity right there.
Yes.
That is it. Yeah.
I think about that even as a comedian, because I do have comedians who will DM me or they'll come up to me after my set like, hey, you should have said this instead. And it's like...
That takes some balls. I'm always like, hey, maybe try this tag. And they're always just like, thanks. I don't know, man. It's a fine line. It's like giving parenting advice when you're not a parent.
Right.
It's like, have you tried shutting the phone?
Right. And feedback is to be taken with a grain of salt because like you said earlier, like being a comedian, it's a very individual journey. Not everyone's journey is going to look alike, So I made a post the other day and I just talked about my experience because a lot of comedians ask me, why are you booked so frequently? And I'm like,
you're everywhere.
I'm everywhere. I've been fortunate to, perform stand-up at a wide range of venues with a wide range of producers. And I love that, And I was just thinking about, what I've done, but just, being professional, like you said, being on time. Like producers pay attention to that.
Yep.
They pay attention to, if you're running the light.
Yep.
Like I didn't realize how much of a that is for a lot of people. Like they will not book you if you run the light consistently. It's a production thing.
So we got to keep it on time. We got to do this. We got to do that.
That's right.
We think we're the artists when we get up there. Well, I'm the artist. I'm the creator. I'm going to do it's my stage. It's like,
right.
Sure. Yeah. You can do it this one time and then see how that works. Unless you're filling that bitch out yourself.
Yeah.
That's not a luxury that you have.
Exactly. It's true. So even just things like that. But then also to the online stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was complimenting you on as far as if this is where you're going.
Yes.
With tagging all the necessary important individuals
Yes.
of the group and promoting them, because
Correct.
that's something that I've always prided myself on as well, because hey, it takes a lot of work to do it.
It does.
B, you want to know when more of these are happening? These are the people you need to follow.
Correct.
And give kudos. So it's
Yes.
this whole thing. Do you want the community to succeed?
Right.
Then you share that information.
Absolutely.
You don't, like you said, when you get private numbers and all that from these, no.
Right.
That's you worked for that, and that was given. You never.
Correct.
Like, oh, you want his number? Cool. Yeah, give me yours. I'll text it to them.
Yes.
And they'll reach out when they
Absolutely.
want. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
another thing.
depending on who it is, because I've definitely worked to earn a lot of the connections I have.
Yeah.
If they're wide known people, because somebody did ask me like, oh, like I want to do comedy here. Who should I talk to? If they're widely known, that's okay. But if it's somebody I worked to earn, I feel like there's a balance. Like I work with some producers who are widely known. I work with some who are less known, and they don't want their information out there for everyone. And that's just what it is.
And that's a respect level too.
Absolutely.
That's the professionalism that speaks to that.
Yes. So, and then being personable, I didn't want, like, a lot of people think that you have to be nice. You don't necessarily have to be nice, but you have to be somebody, in my opinion, you should be somebody who other people want to be around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There are some comedians who they have great stand up, but I don't necessarily want to be around them.
Yeah.
I'll watch them on stage, I'll laugh, and then I'll just move around, and that's just what it is. Like, I'm a very personable person.
Yeah.
And again, that came from that's who I am and who I work to be, but also me being a teacher. I had to work with a wide range of different personalities.
On the teaching side and the students.
Absolutely. So it's just like, I have to be around these kids for 55 minutes, They might not like me necessarily, but they do have to respect me, and I have to respect them.
Yeah, and that's how you're going to get their respect. Is by respecting them.
That is correct.
Yeah, because
100%.
they're little adults. That's what you're doing. Hey, this is how you enter my class.
Yes.
This is how you should do it, because this and that.
Right.
And you will be respected because you're following these, and do they make sense to you? All right, cool.
Right. Absolutely. And then I would also advise to just being passionate about supporting others. I mean, I've received a lot of support with a lot of like just getting bookings, but then also just with Cool Kids Comedy Club. It was so funny because shout out to Joey Capuana. Like, I created the Cool Kids Comedy Club Instagram page, right? I get this super professional message from Joey. I'm interested. This is so cool. Like, how can I send you my information? This is who I am. And I called Joey on the phone. I'm like, Joey, me and Gary started this, right? He was like, bro, I had no idea it was you guys.
Oh, shit.
It was so cool. So, I mean, that kind of goes back to the professionalism, but also just being passionate about supporting others. Like, I've been supported with that. So in turn, I support people. I used to, when I was able to, now I have so many shows, but when I was able to, I would stay to the very last comic at like open mics. I would stay to the very last comic on shows because I know what it's like to have that support. Yeah. And I always want to give back the support that I received and just pour back into the community.
Reciprocate it.
Absolutely. Yes.
Because then we can count on each other, and you are building that community.
Yes.
For sure. Sometimes, you have other obligations where, I have another show, or I got to get up early or something, but no, that's definitely something like I said, that's how like when you're in a room, because you're showing support with your laughter, and your laughter means that you're there,
right?
That you're actually you're coming out to these shows. That's one thing I wish I could get better of, is to get out into the shows, but
life be life and
just trying to make a bunch of shit happen.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And it's funny too what you said about me being so busy. Like, I am beginning to recognize that that's really not normal. Like me being able to handle so much is not normal. And I say that because a lot of people are impressed by what I'm doing, but for me, it's natural. But it's really not natural to wear so many hats. Like it can be stressful and overwhelming. Yep. But the type of person you're like, I'm wearing a lot right now. I'm stressed. It's who I am as a person. I like to be busy. I like to be involved and like have my hands in multiple things. But me being like now a leader of something, I need to be cognizant of the fact that, hey, just because I like to be busy doesn't mean that everybody else likes to be busy. I remember when Luke came on to the organization as a community liaison, I asked him, I'm like, hey, so what hours can I contact you between? Like, I never assume that because somebody's not on stage that they're not busy, you know? So I'm very respectful of like time commitments that other people who want to get involved have.
I should be taking notes, girl. You're dropping some knowledge. I like that. I like that. So you asked him when he was available.
Yeah, like when are you available for like communication? Because me, if you guys are ever online super early in the morning, I'm like, I wake up at 4.
Damn.
So I'm online at 4 thinking about, what am I going to post today?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's just something that just pops into my head. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm waiting until like not commotion, but like, you know, my previous post, I'm kind of waiting for that to kind of die down before I ask the other question that I want to know. But that's not everybody.
Yeah.
You know, that's not everybody. Some people are like, I don't get up until 11.
Yeah. Some don't get out till 5. Man.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just super respectful and, you know, again, like becoming more cognizant of the fact that I take on a lot, but that's not everyone.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing where it's like equality of outcome, where it's like, well, there's not the equality of input.
Right.
Know? And just because someone's up at 4 doesn't mean that they're doing more work than someone's up at 11.
Correct.
Because it could be, you know, they're up at 4 and that's just when they get up and they're not doing any work.
Correct.
But not in your case, you know.
No.
You get up. I'm the same. It's like I get up. Okay, what am I gonna share today?
Yes.
What am I gonna do to kind of promote some positivity?
Absolutely.
Write something or find a meme that you know gives somebody some inspiration to become dedicated, because inspiration and motivation comes and goes.
Yes.
You know, so we're finding that inspiration for you to become a dedicated individual. And yeah, a lot of my time I'm on my, you know, my phone a lot.
Yes.
But it's to try and make these connections, you know.
It's important.
You know, unless somebody sends me a reel,
right.
I don't have TikTok. I'm not on reels.
Right.
You know, I'm not, you know, my time isn't consumed with that. I'm too busy trying to create what's up here and materialize it. Yeah,
that's important. It's important. And I think too that like what a lot of comedians do is they compare journeys, and I'm strongly against that.
Yeah.
Because even if somebody is super successful, you don't know what they went through to get there.
Well, and I guess if you can just extrapolate your own experience.
Yes.
So they're where you want to be, and yet what you're experiencing, they've experienced, you know, tenfold, because they're where you're trying to get. So why are you trying to negate that? And it's the work. You're coming at it. You came out hot, like I said, right up, like just on fire.
Right.
Your online content's great. You post and tag and support all these shows. And you're personable, your joke writing is great, your delivery is impeccable, like all these things that you're doing. But you've worked, like I've seen you from day one,
right?
Like I've seen you work at this.
Yes.
So it's work, guys.
It's work.
Yes, we're telling jokes. Yes, we're up late and drinking and smoking, but it's still work.
Yes.
It could be different work. You could be, I'm not going to even list jobs to that people,
right.
But you know, you can be doing something that's more monotonous in your opinion, you know?
Yes.
But no, you're able to just grab a mic. Somebody's willing to give you a stage.
Yes.
Respect it.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah. There are some bookers who they will not book you again if you do not post. I didn't realize how big of an issue, because when I have a show coming up, I'm posting 5,000 posts about it.
Yeah.
But a lot of bookers will see that, and I did ask that question, like, whose responsibility is it?
For the promotions, yes.
For the promotions, because now I'm producing my own show. I feel it's my responsibility.
Yes, you're the promoter.
As the producer and promoter.
As the producer, the promoter, it's your show. You want to make sure it's successful.
Yes.
Now, in your mind, I got to find the people that are going to make this execute the best.
Correct.
So in your mind as a producer, you're looking at, well, who really shares that the events that they're on? Who does this? And if that's not you, then you better be, like I said, packing that place out.
That's right.
What's the name that I can book that as soon as I add them to the flyer?
Yep.
I know that I can guarantee, a certain amount of heads.
Exactly.
If you're not that, then you better be doing this.
Right. Absolutely. So I like that most of the responses were like everyone, it's the venue should be promoting it. It should, the comedians.
Agreed.
And that's ideal. That's the perfect scenario. So what I do, or what I've seen done, is, there'll be like a main flyer with everybody, but then also the individual flyers as well, which I love that. And I replicated that concept for the benefit show that we have, because this is the show as a whole, but this is also like individuals, so that, hoping that when they're posting it, they're able to connect with their audience, like you were talking about earlier.
And you've been doing a bio on them too, right?
Yes.
So that's awesome, because it's creating more content opportunity for the same event.
Yes.
So it's like, it would be one thing if you're just sharing the same flyer over and over.
Correct.
But no, you're sharing this, and then you're doing the individuals, and then you're giving, hey, this is why this person is really good for our organization.
Yes. Absolutely. And the comedians that we schedule for Cool Kids Comedy Club, they all have some type of specialty. Like we are going to actually have Dan Hansen come and teach a class in June, and he's a prop comedian. Oh, nice. So that's his specialty. Back in, I forgot what month that was, but I actually met a comedian who is a puppeteer.
Oh, sure.
And I want him to come out and teach a class. Like, we want to show them that comedy does not have to just look one way. There's a lot of different things. Like, Mark Anthony Ritchie had the kids wearing his Batman mask.
Nice.
That I'm sure he's cleaning like hell right now, right?
Yeah. Little petri dishes.
Right. We had a comedian come out who is also a magician. So we want to showcase, again, the wide range of talent that we have, the wide array of talent that we have within the comedy community.
Yeah, because it is wide here. Arizona is just a leaping pad for a lot of people in the country, entertainers for sure. So, people that are here are going to go elsewhere and become bigger things.
Right.
But also, we have an opportunity here to make Phoenix a hub.
Yes.
Yeah, we do. It's right there. We could be top 5 easily.
I agree, because I've had a couple comedians from Vegas reach out to me. They want to come out here. I'm like, I'm trying to get out there.
Let's go.
But Phoenix is becoming that. It's becoming that place for comedy.
Yeah, that's good. Where do you see Cool Kids Club in like 5 years and maybe 10 years out?
Ooh, I love talking about the future. So we don't want to just be an organization in Arizona. We actually want to be like kind of like a franchise opportunity. So we want Cool Kids Comedy Club to be an after school and summer camp programs, or after school programs, summer camp, winter camp, spring break programs all over the United States. So that's the plan in 5 years. And I don't want to be the one doing all the work at that point.
No way.
I want to be at, popping up at the Cool Kids Comedy Club workshops, like, oh my God, the founder's here,
Yes.
That's what I want to be doing. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be my children who are going to take that on, but I don't want to put that responsibility on them.
Gotcha.
You know, my thing is to leave a legacy for them that they can utilize if they want. But I don't task my kids with like, oh, you have to take this up after me.
The family business.
Right. Right. So definitely 5 years, it would be nice to have the Cool Kids Comedy Club workshops going in the Southwest. And then after 10 years, want some everywhere.
Yeah.
Because even like Lola Hernandez, shout out to her. She's so awesome.
Lola.
She has been promoting it on her TikTok. And there's been people from other states like, we need this here.
Wow.
So the demand is there.
Yes.
And it's an interesting concept because there's already after school clubs in existence. There's already traveling kids comedy troupes in existence, but nothing that kind of marries them. So it's very unique, and we're kind of venturing into uncharted territory. It is opportunity. If it's different, opportunity, right? But also too, like, is it going to be viable? I'm always thinking about risk and benefits or costs and benefits. That's like my business mind, But we're receiving a lot of support. We've been interviewed by Fox 10.
Yeah.
We were interviewed by ABC 15. So there's been a lot of support with it. So I'm excited.
I've seen it. I mean, you hit the ground running and and I mean, the one thing that really points to it was how professional of an email you got from Joey Capuano. All right, but no, he is great. He is a pro. No, he's in comedy for the love and the practice.
That is correct.
Of the art. Yeah. No, I love Joey
a
lot. But you guys hit the ground running right out the gate. I mean, you guys had like 5 or 6 comics, on board.
Yes.
Within like the first 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
And then, real soon after, I saw those interviews, where you guys were on, I guess the silver screen. I mean, what do you call that, right? The TV.
Right.
Yeah. So you're on the right track, and getting you behind the mic and really, having this moment, because we see each other, a lot.
Yes.
But it's just, hey, girl, how you doing? All right.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah, cool. On the set. Yeah. All right. And now we've been, talking for, an hour and a half.
Nice.
And, uninterrupted, we have an opportunity to really, find out, how your mind works, what influences it. And,
right.
Man, I am very impressed.
Thank you so much. I super appreciate that. This has been so much fun.
Yeah.
It's nice to get to talk to you, like you said, for an extended period of time.
Yeah, I enjoy these podcasts because of that. It's like no other time do we have this.
Yes, look at who's calling me.
Who is it? Gary. I was just about to ask, what's the biggest thing Gary does to get on your nerves? I was like, it's not one of those. You and Gary have to make your own podcast.
Right. Yeah, we want to. That would be fun.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Wish you all the success. I'll definitely be there in April.
Yay. Awesome.
So I don't know. I guess where can people get their tickets for it?
So we have tickets available on the Stir Crazy website. We also have on our social media pages, we have a link to it. Mm-hmm. So you can find any updates with Cool Kids Comedy Club at on Instagram or Facebook, Cool Kids Comedy Club. I like to point out that kids is with a K.
Why?
Well, because when I was naming it, I was like, oh, we should do everything K's.
Oh, shit. No, you didn't. No, you didn't, girl.
I'm like, no, we're just going to leave the traditional spelling. We don't want anything to lead to misinterpretation.
Well, I guess, would that have been 4Ks?
That would have been 4Ks.
Oh, okay. I think you could do 2K. Anything past 2Ks. Unless, what do baseball stadiums do when they have the strikeout marker and they have 3Ks on there? Oh my God. Anyways, wow, you dodged a bullet there.
Right. Yep, thinking ahead, right? And then my personal Instagram is Wild Child Comedy, so feel free to connect with me.
You guys do yourselves a favor and follow this powerful woman and her journey and support her, because she pays it back, hand over fist for sure. Kayla Howard.
That's right. That's my government.
That's who you make the checks to.
That's exactly right.
I appreciate you coming on. I won't take up any more of your time because you got some big things in the works. So thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome.
I'll probably see you tonight, if not later this week.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Do all the magic. All right. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye. Woo!
Hey, God, that was awesome.
That was so cool. Thank you so much.